All right, everybody, I'm very excited about this one. This one is going to be a fun one for me. I hope it is a fun one for you. I want to talk about what I'm calling the 10 steps to cultivate a culture of serving. I think this is something that I think we've got to focus a little bit more on, because it seems to me that what everybody gets lost on is selling rather than serving. And we start talking about a lot of things that have to do with just plain old numbers and just focusing solely on numbers. And, the numbers are everything. The numbers are everything. And I get that. I think numbers are right. I think numbers are good. However, I don't want to be treated like a number. I want to be treated like a person. Because it's very easy to not be so nice to a number. It's very easy to write off a number. However, as a person, I feel like I want to be treated a certain way. And a lot of the advice and things that you can see everywhere, this is kind of one of my big contenders of why I think social media marketing has always been such a hard thing and it doesn't really work. Because social media marketing works for selling products. So if you think about it from your own side, when you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, you'll see something you like, you click on it, you can buy it right then. And then maybe in a week you get it. But we're not that. We're not a product. We are a service. And a service requires serving, which means there's nothing that can be done instantly. Even if they see you, even if they tap on you, even if they click on you, to come to you means they have to actually get in front of something that is performed. So it's not just something sold or transferred. It's something that has to be experienced. And if we are going to have a company, which there's really no other option, there's no way for them to just tap on Instagram and get an adjustment instantly. That's not a thing. If it's going to take coming in to get a service, we need to make sure that what we're providing as a service is being served correctly. So if I look at 1 Peter 4:10, it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So if the Bible says that we've been given a gift, and I believe we have, I believe every doctor in this room has been given a gift, you should use it to serve. Not use it to push, not use it to solely profit. Use it to serve. So if we're going to go through this, I want to talk through the different 10 steps that I think that cultivate making this worth it, making serving let's just say our number one priority. Because if we're going to sell a service, there's nothing worse than selling a service and then serving it improperly. There's nothing worse than saying, come in for my service, then we don't give you any good service. Because the one thing that we sometimes can get confused on is that while chiropractic is a service, you can give the greatest adjustment on earth, but if you treat me like crap, it doesn't matter how good it was. It doesn't matter how good of an adjustment I got if you are mean, if you are nasty, if you are just rude. It doesn't matter. So let's go through this. So where do we start? I'm going to start in a very simple spot. I'm going to start with the system. The system that we provide you, the integrity system, is the platform of your service. It's the stage. It's the stage that explains and presents chiropractic in a positive and easy to understand manner for you to be the live action leader of what they say on the screen. So we are giving you a foundation, a visual to start them. The videos, the paperwork, the everything. Now, I want to make sure you know just from the start how good you got it. Because it's very easy to start looking at these things, and the more you do them, and you do them every day, and you press play multiple times a day, it's very easy to start nitpicking. I don't like this one. I'd rather not do this. Oh, you want to go back to where you just do the whole thing with the script? No, I didn't think so. I did not think that was the answer. I'll then hear, well, this stuff's kind of outdated. Okay, Steven Spielberg. You know what's outdated? I'll give you even a fun way to show you this. It's just so weird how life works out. I live across the street from a guy who is a major player in dental. He's one of the top dental surgeons in the country. He runs one of the biggest dental consultancies that there is. So pretty much like what we do, he does it for dental. And so he introduced me to this other guy who is another consultancy type guy, and he does it for Aspen, does all these different deals, and does coaching for them. And he was telling me about, he's like, oh, you do chiropractic. Oh, that's cool. So he was like, I went to an office. He goes, it was incredible. He's like, they had all this stuff. They had these brochures and things, and they had these videos. He said, I've never seen anything like it. And I said, really, what's the doctor's name? And he said the name. I said, yeah, he's one of ours. That's one of our integrity doctors. He said, you're a kid. He said, did you guys make those videos? I said, yeah, we did. He said, I can't believe it. He said, I can't even fathom what it would take to put something like that together. He said, if our company tried to do that, he said, I don't even know if we could afford it. I don't know if it's possible. He said, he goes, honestly, you guys are doing something unbelievable. And I walked away from it like, like, sweet. But then I hear, well, we don't like videos. And I don't like this little picture here. Everybody else is crazy impressed. But we can pick it apart because we get lost in the little things, the stuff that doesn't matter. See, the system is awesome. I'm pointing out because the system is awesome. We're giving you some awesome videos. We're giving you some awesome handouts. We're giving you a wellness wall with people signing the wall. We have one office, I heard this week, they're on their third wall in the office because they've run out of room on the two others. And they're just covered in signatures. They're not sure what they're going to do eventually. That's really cool. That's really awesome. So what you then end up being is rather than being just a staff member or a team member or a doctor, you become the real thing. You become what they saw on that TV screen or that tablet, and you become the real-life version of that. It's just like a Disney character. How many of y'all been to Disney before? For those of you who haven't, how many of you know that children don't realize that characters are real until they get there? Because like my own kids, they grow up watching characters like Bluey and Mickey Mouse, and they watch these little cartoons on TV, and they're typically on repeat. And so we watch the same Mickey Mouse Clubhouse episode over and over and over. And it's just constant, never ending. And then one day we go to Disney World, and all of a sudden it's real. Like that drawing is a real thing. And they don't know how to take it. They don't know how to function. You saw my other son, Nolan, who's there. He's a little more grown, standing there in the front. Now I got Harvey. If you know Harvey from my past speeches, he talks like Forrest Gump. He has a very big southern accent. Don't know where it came from. But Harvey loves Disney. He loves the Mickey. He's my imaginative kid. Nolan is my smart, analytical guy. Harvey is the dreamer. And Harvey, at this point in his young life, this is the first time he got to meet Mickey. We go to meet Mickey Mouse, and he couldn't say Mickey, he called him Ja. And I love this because I'm going to show it to you here. When he sees them, Mickey's back is turned to him. And you're going to watch as he walks over like, is this real? Is this real? Like he walks up and trying to figure it out. And as soon as Mickey turns, my son goes, huh, huh, Ja. So here we go. We're going to watch him turn.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You recording?
I got it.
Thank you. They're coming up behind you. Oh my goodness.
It's Mickey. Go see him, Harvey.
Just try not to block that red box and start going fast.
He's so
Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. To me, it's a perfect representation of what a patient is. Perfect representation of a patient. He comes in, he sees this. realizes it's real, thinks this might be for me, and then runs away because he doesn't really know it's a lot bigger than it looked on the television. That is your patients to a T. Your patients that come into your office for the first time. They see the video, they see, oh, this sounds neat. Then you go to approach them and they're like, whoop, I don't know if I'm all in on this yet. You're going to have to work a little harder. You're going to have to try a little more. But it takes us being the real part of it. We are the real part. See, I've always felt, one of the things I felt that I think we don't put enough stock in, and this is why I think service is so important. If you look miserable when I come into your office, you are to me a living, breathing representation of chiropractic. So if I walk in and you look like you don't feel good, I'm not thinking this is where it's going to work. I'm not thinking that this is a solution. I'm thinking, welcome to Family Chiropractic. We got some paperwork for you. I'm thinking, oh no, this isn't going to work. There's no way. If it would work, why isn't it working for you? It's a direct reflection. I need to see it from you because the system, even because we've made it easy with videos, because we've made it easy with not doing as many scripts, we've made it easy with taking things away and making it simpler, it still requires a person to work. It still requires a heart to make it real. It requires you. It requires you to be seen, and it requires you to be a representation of it. Now, to do this, though, I do want to touch on the fact that in order to serve, we got to have the right team to serve. And I really feel like right now we're making some mistakes and we're picking to serve. Now, I'm not saying there's anybody bad in this room. I think it's a room full of great people. I'm talking about the people who didn't come today. They're awful. They're just not good people. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, kind of, not really. What I'm pointing out here is I get to hear so many things from different clinics. I hear stories where people will say that they hired someone and then they get a 2-week notice a week later. Now this happens a lot, happens everywhere. And every time a coach comes to me and says, well, they just have a lot of turnover. Lots of turnover. Everybody's turnover. And my first thought is, so were they a fan? And every time, well, no, we found them on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, web ad. And I started to think, okay, that makes sense then. Because I want a fan of this thing. I want a fan. If I'm a fan of chiropractic, I'm not going to leave for $1 more. You see what I'm saying? See, the reasons these people leave is because they came to you for this, then they saw another web ad that announced $1 more an hour, and they're like, oh, I'm going to that one now. And they're just darting back and forth, not because they didn't like your position, but because they didn't care about it in the first place. All they're caring about is getting more money. Now, is that a bad thing? Am I knocking money? No, I'm not knocking money. What I'm knocking is I want people who are fans here. And one of the easiest places to find fans is in your office. Now, I don't understand the fear behind asking a patient to work here. I don't understand why that isn't the first choice. I know it is for us. If we're going to hire someone, you look at everyone we've ever hired, it is not because we found them on the web. We got Jory here. Jory's in the back. That's the person y'all complain to, right back there. She's the person that does everything. She's my one-stop shop. She knows all, does all, informs all. Thank you. Hear that? That's how nice that is. We didn't find Jory on the side of the road. We didn't find her on the web. We found her because she was friends with Shelley. And Shelley, our employee, said, I know a girl who's awesome and would do great. And he said, great, let's hire her. And that was it. Now, why am I pointing this out? I want to ask y'all staff a question. Every staff member in here. Raise your hand if you have friends. Keep them up. Keep them up. If you don't, it's okay. I don't have friends either. I'm married. I don't. That's not how that works anymore. If you got friends, do you know someone who could be a great fit to work here? Hands, some are going down. Some of y'all need better friends. Some of y'all need better. Do you see the point? I'm saying we know people. Could be at church. Could be in our friend circle. Could be in our family. I need your help, staff. I need y'all to speak up. If you know of someone, if you know a patient who's really great and one you love and you think they'd be a great fit to the team, tell somebody. Tell the doctor. Get them hired. Now, I know how your brain works. I know how everybody's, yeah, but I know what they do for a living and they get paid way more than they do here. Yeah, I don't care about that because I know that doesn't really matter. I know that there are a lot of people unhappy where they work, even if it pays well. I know this. I was at a place the other night. Me and my family, we tried a new restaurant called Mission Barbecue. Do you guys have that here? Mission Barbecue. It's new to Florida. It's a new thing, and it's a armed service themed barbecue joint. It's really awesome. And so we go there for the first time. We order, and this lady comes up to our table. It's one where you go pick, you order, you pick it up, and you pick a table. It's like a Chipotle, but a little nicer probably, and not as factory looking. And so we get our food, and this lady comes up to our table. She says, "How y'all doing? How you enjoying it?" We're like, "Good. It's good. We've never been here before." She said, "You've never been here?" "Oh, hold on a second." She runs back, grabs a tray full of food, and brings it out. She's like, "Here's every side we have. Here's the meat you didn't order. Go to it." I was like, what? What do you mean? She said, "It's your first time. I want to make sure you love it. I want you to eat everything here." And so we start eating. We're just pigging out, just like this, which was great because I'd spent already quite a bit because I like barbecue. I was happy to do it. "I'll serve for you, lady. I'll do this." We're eating, we're doing it, we're living the dream. And then all of a sudden she comes up and she's like, "You're like, how you guys doing?" I'm like, "Man, we're just stuffed. She's like, "Oh, no, you're not stuffed. We got dessert. Dessert's next. Get ready. It's coming." And my kids look up and they're like, "Desserts? We get desserts?" She comes out with 12 brownies, banana pudding, strawberry shortcake, whole slew of I'm sitting there like, they are losing money. There is no way what is happening. And so she serves us still. And I'm gluten-free, so I can't eat any of this stuff. So no, it's okay. I found something later. I'm doing all this deal. I'm coming out. So I stopped her. I said, "Can I ask you some questions?" I said, "What's happening here?" Like, what? And she said, she's like, "My job is to serve you." She said, I'm here to serve you, and I'm here to make sure that you want to come here." I was like, "Really?" I said, "So you just give out food all the time?" She said, "Well, actually," she goes, "one of our staples is because we are an armed services team, anyone who served in the armed services or any kind of serving type deal, so whether it be troops, firemen, police, you name it," she said, "if they're here, I'm supposed to find out, and I'm supposed to give them a free dessert every visit." And I'm like, "Really?" So I was like, "Retired? Yeah. 80 years old? Yeah." She's like, I'm here to serve." And I said, well, because at this point, I'm crazy impressed with this girl. And as I told her, I would have hired her on the spot. I wished I had a position because she was so on fire for it. And I asked her, I said, "So how did you get this job?" And she said, "Well, honestly," she's like, "I had a friend who was working here, and she was telling me about it." And she said, "I thought it sounded amazing." I said, "Well, what were you doing before?" She said, "I was a teacher." I said, "You're a teacher?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I was a teacher." She's like, "I was making a ton more money over there." But she said, I feel like I get to fulfill a purpose here. So I get to really help people. And I was like, whoo, this is heavy. Like, it was an amazing interaction. And this is at a barbecue restaurant. Can we come to grips with what that is? It's a barbecue restaurant. It's a place filled with people with dirty hands and faces. And she's fulfilled there. She took a less paying job because she thought it would help more people. Now, that's what I'm thinking is everywhere. I'm thinking you've got some patients that love you, that love your services. And what if, let me just ask you a question. What if you asked them to work? If you said, hey, I want you to work here. And they say, no, I can't do that. Is that so bad? Are you so afraid of no that you're afraid to compliment them by telling them that you think they'd be an awesome member of the team? I think that's as good a compliment as it gets. Hey, we love you so much, we want you here all the time. But staff, I need your help with this. Because here's the thing. I know that if y'all don't help me with this, we're just going to keep doing Indeed. And we're going to keep shuffling people in and out. I used to work at Disney a long time ago. Long time ago. You know why I worked at Disney? Because I love Disney. I love me some Disney World. And I got to be honest with you, if Universal had offered me $1 more, $2 more, $5 more an hour, I would have said no way. Because I didn't love Universal. I love Disney. And I got a job there because I love Disney. I want to work where I love it. I want to work, because if I love it, I'm going to stay. You know, that's the funny thing I think about, even like for those of us, because we know, because college football is upon us. The whole transfer portal concept. The transfer portal means we got a whole bunch of kids who don't really love the school they picked. Because if you loved your school, you wouldn't just hop on a train and leave. You wouldn't just leave every year. It's not on purpose. I think I even jumped into a slide that was the next one. So let me ask you this question when it comes to picking that perfect serving team. Would you hire a jerk to work the front desk? Maybe I should ask this first. Has anyone ever hired a jerk that worked the front desk? I'm thinking there's some. Why do I point this out? Because this is when we start getting into, we hired for skills. Well, you know, they're really good at this. I don't care, they're a jerk. They're not going to serve. They're about themselves. They're not here to do it the right way. So staff, I need your help with this. Now, there's nothing worse than going to a business that has staff members who aren't fans of the service. There's nothing worse than going to a steak place and having a waiter that doesn't eat meat. There'd be nothing worse than going to church and having greeters that are atheists. I mean, think about what we're doing here. We're just bringing, I don't really think this is good. I just like the position. It was good hours for me, so I took it. We have to hire fans, man. We need fans, because fans are going to serve the right way. Now, I want to put the hiring formula up on here just to make sure we hit it. To serve the perfect team, you need the right amount of people, too. So we have what we call the 425 rule. You hire your first staff member within your first 100 visits, and then when you start to hit 425, we bring somebody on. At 850, we bring on another person. At 1275, we bring on another person, a fifth person at 1700, sixth person at 2125. And this can also be calculated in terms of your percentage of collections, which could be 15 to 19%. I want to point this out because I have one very simple rule that I want to make sure everybody understands in here. If you have office drama, there's too many people and not enough serving. So you want to know why there's so much drama? There's too many people. Oh, we got a hand raised in the back. There's too many people and not enough serving. Why do I know this? Because if there was enough people to serve, you wouldn't have time for that drama. Drama means too much free time. Drama means not enough to do. Which means we got way too many people hanging out, not serving. This is important. Step 3, I need you to make a commitment to serve. I've kind of gone over this because this is where I've got the barbecue thing in here. But I want to make sure that we're finding people that have a willingness to serve. Want to be here, maybe is the easiest way to put it. I want someone who wants to be here. I want someone who wants to be around people. I want someone who wants to help people. See, one of the things that I think is that it's always a test for me when I go into any business. This isn't chiropractic, this is just business in general. I shouldn't be able to tell if you've worked here 5 minutes or 5 years. Now, the reason I point that out is because I want the same level of service, fire, passion, whether you've been here 5 minutes or 5 years. And I find in a lot of business, the 5-year people end up being the not-so-happy people. And I find I can point out a new employee very quickly. And that's a problem. Because that tells me that we've gotten off the mind of service. And we're not doing things the right way. And then all we do is we just hang on to people because they've been here so long. And I don't want to just have you to have you. I want someone who's going to serve. I want someone who's going to take care of my patients. I want someone who's going to do the right thing. I want to make sure that you are taking care. See, in other words, I want you to see your patients as family. Because if you see them as family, you care about how good a treatment they get. You care about what level of service they get. You care about, now I should say, I want them to be the family you like. You know, I know there's some you're like, but I want to make sure that we treat them the right way. I don't just want to treat them like they're another person. Here's another thoracic case. Here's another lower back. No, man. Here's Sarah. Here's Jonathan. Here's my cousin. Here's my uncle. I want to see them as family because I want to commit to serve. I want to serve the community. I want to serve your people. I want to serve everyone around us. But that's going to take you choosing a serving perspective. See, I want a serving perspective. See, you can't serve if you're seeing your job as work. If you see what you do as work, it's not enjoyable. Because man, oh man, y'all, you guys got it made. Can I just point that out? You guys have it made. Have it made like nothing. Do you realize how many other jobs you could have? Most of you work 40 hours or less a week. Weekends off, except for today, and I know that was a pain for some of you, but hey, you get to be with me. That's awesome. You get to work inside with air conditioning and heating if necessary. Free treatment, major holidays off, Sundays off. This isn't even Chick-fil-A. You get to not work on Sundays. Or holidays. We have it so stinking good. Have you seen some of the jobs out there? I live in Florida. I live in Florida. I did the dumb thing of, I have a yard company. I pay a company to do my yard. And I told my wife, I was like, the prices keeps going up. So I went out and bought some yard equipment. So I'm going to do this. I was out there for about 20 minutes with this thing trying to trim a palm tree. And I walked back there. I was like, nope, we're going to pay. We're going to pay. I don't want to do this. This is awful. It's too much. There's worse jobs. Worse. There's more requiring jobs. When I worked at Disney, we were required to work during the holidays 80 hours a week, 13 days straight. 13 days straight, 80-hour weeks during the holidays, during the November to January time frame. And I heard some of us acting like, I work so much. It's so tough. I don't get it. We have it so good. One of my favorite quotes from a movie, there's an old movie called Swingers. It's not what you're thinking, some of you young people. It's an old movie with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. And it's about a guy who gets broken up with, and his best friend is trying to get him over it. And he takes him to Vegas, and the whole time he's complaining about how hard this breakup is and how hard his life is and how much everything stinks. And Vince Vaughn pulls the car over on the side of the interstate, gets out of the car, and he says, buddy, you're so money and you don't even know it. And I always love the line because it just reminds me, so many times we have it so much better than we act like. So much better. I always tell my wife, because we'll hear every now and again at different church things we go to, we'll hear that this is the end times. And I always joke my wife and be like, those Israelites would get a real kick out of us and our air conditioning and our cell phones. And be like, yeah, they got it bad. Yeah, it's the end times, all right. Or maybe it's pretty good. I'm going to get on a plane today, and I'm going to be home tonight. I'm going to be in my own bed. I'm going to ride in a giant rocket ship bomb with 150 other people, and somehow I'm going to be in Dallas this morning and in my bed tonight. But it's awful right now. No, it's not that bad. We got good. It's all a matter of perspective. It's time to embrace the benefits of serving and looking forward to it. It's time to realize we got it great here. Because I know this, if you see it like work, it's going to take forever. If you enjoy it, the days will fly by. If you remember when you were in school, when you get in a class that you did not like, you'd look up at the clock and it would say 8:03. And then you'd look down, you'd do some work, and you'd look up at the clock expecting it to say 8:50, and it said 8:06. You're like, oh no, this is going to take forever. Never going to get out of here. How am I going to survive? Why? Because you didn't like it. And when you don't like something, it takes a long time. It's harder. You suffer through it. And that's the same for your job. If you take a job and you don't love people, and you don't love serving, and you don't love healing, this job is going to be the longest day of your life. But if you embrace the serving, and embrace the loving, and the helping, and the caring, the days will fly. You'll get to the end of the day and be like, oh, I ran out of time. I need more time. We have to start embracing the serving part. We then have to put the patients first. See, problems arise, I put this in red because it's that important. Problems arise when the focus turns away from serving to self-service. When you start putting yourself first. One thing I've noticed, and this is what's so fun about seeing so many of you here today, these conferences are a great example of service and self-service. There are a lot of offices who will decide not to come. And they'll listen to they'll have a discussion about, I don't really want to get up. I don't really want to go. I don't want to give up my Saturday. And the irony is that the more you start giving up those little things, the more you start giving up on everything. And you start letting things go. And I'll notice that the people that aren't here today will be the ones we have the most problems with. They'll be the ones that are the unhappiest. They'll be the ones that say we don't do anything. They don't follow the deal. They don't stay in the deal. See, I see it as you are here today to improve your service. That's what this is. We're here to improve the service we're giving. Your work life will dramatically change for the better once you start anticipating an increase in awesome patients rather than the anticipating of lunches, breaks, and shift-in times. When you start to avoid people, you're losing. I bring up the conferences because when you come here and you get to interact with each other and you get to see each other, you are happier. The community part is necessary. We somehow decided to convince ourselves during the pandemic that community just meant online. And online, we couldn't be further apart. We need to come together. We need to see each other. We need to be a part of it. For the same goes with your patients. The more your patients come, the better they are. That's why wellness is so important. The more they're with you, the better their life is. The better their quality of life is. But we have to put them first, because if we don't put them first, what we start doing is we make our decisions based upon what our own feelings are and what our own preferences are. So we drop the ball on a procedure because it's just more convenient for me. We drop the ball on coming to a conference because it's more convenient for me. We drop the ball on calling someone who didn't show up today because that's just more convenient for me. And then what happens is all of those little tiny conveniences end up hurting in the long run. And in the long run, when everything's not going right, we then look back at like, well, what was to blame? And we don't ever blame the fact that we just stopped serving. So if we're going to make serving the top priority, which is step 6, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. It's a very simple question. Am I serving as a caregiver? Now, the reason this is such an important question is I want to pose it with 2 other options that are also very simple and easy options that come up all the time. All day at your offices, you can choose between 3 things. You can be a task completer, a patient pessimist, or a caregiver. On every visit, on every procedure. So let's just, when you meet someone at a screening, a task completer just says, oh, here they come. All right, I got to screen them. I was going to leave here in 20 minutes, but let's just get through this. Because it's just about the task. A patient pessimist, when they come up, says, there's no way they're going to do this. Not a chance. They don't look like they got enough money. They don't look like they really care. They look like they're just coming because they want this free koozie. A caregiver looks at them and says, oh man, here's another life we get to save. Ooh, here's another person who can experience the awesomeness of chiropractic. Here's another person that's going to feel so much better because they met me. I'm realizing my voice I'm getting real low. I'm starting to sound like I'm a country western movie or something like that. That's okay. I will talk like it's right. When a new patient shows up for the first visit, is it, well, we got to give them this right place thing, and what room you want to put them in, I'll just stick them in there. Or is it, oh, there's no way they're going to stay. I saw they don't even have insurance. They're not going to pay for squat. Or is it, oh, wow, here's another person. Are we ready to go? I can't wait to meet them. I can't wait to tell them how great this is. I can't wait to tell them that they are in the right place at the right time. When a patient misses an appointment, is it, well, I've got to call them. Hopefully the voicemail answers. Patient pessimist, I don't need to call this one. They definitely don't want to come back. We didn't like them anyway, so let's let that one go. Or is it, oh man, I can't believe she missed it. I was looking forward to see her. I know she's not happy, but I was happy. I was ready to go. We got to get her back in here. When a patient feels negatively impacted for your office, oh, well, we're supposed to be nice to them and do it. Let's just go listen to the complaint and just, offer something down the road. Or patient pessimist. When a patient feels negatively, of course they did. They're miserable. They're a cruddy person. We don't want them. They're horrible. Or caregiver. How can we help you? I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to be hurt. How can we make this right? When a patient's contemplating dropping out of care, well, I understand, but we've got some steps. Let's just do them and just see what happens. Or the pessimist. Of course they're going to drop out. They're late every visit. They don't seem like they care to me. Why should I care about them? Or maybe they can't drop out. This treatment plan isn't optional. It's how they get well. We need them well. Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see the point? See, each of these things, I know that the task completer and the patient pessimist, we are all three of these things at the same time. See, I'm not acting like these are just people. I'm saying this is all of us. I have these thoughts. Every one of them. When a client calls in with a problem, well, they've missed the last 3 calls, so I'll go through the steps. I'll be like, this guy's a pain in the butt. It'd just be easier if we dropped him. Complains all the time anyway. He'd probably like that. Or it's, hey, how can we help you, man? Like, how can we turn this thing around? How can we get us back on the dream? See, I know I can be every single one of these, but I know that being the caregiver is the one that's necessary. And I will also point out that being the caregiver 90% of the time isn't the easier choice. It's the hard one. Because can we just admit for a second, we got some crap patients, don't we? Do we not have some patients we don't like? Can we just say that? Do you have a patient that you really don't like? Yeah. Oh, no, I love them all. That's a lie. It's like asking your favorite kid. You know you got a favorite. We don't have to say it. We don't have to put it out there. But if the police are calling, you know the name that enters your head of who the trouble one's going to be. Step 7, serve up trust and appreciation. Man, the easiest way in my eyes to serve and to serve the right way is by showing you care, is by smiling. We live in a society now that's just not smiling as much as they used to. I want you to smile. So just for my own entertainment, I want everybody to give me a smile. Look up, give me a smile. Oh, God. Okay. Found the problem. Found it. See, some of you look painful. Some of you look... And some of you just mocked me. I saw a few like... We need to smile more. Can we smile? I want everybody to smile right now again. Smile like you mean it. Smile like you love me. Smile like you're thrilled to be here. We're going to hold it for about 10 seconds, maybe 15. Keep going. I'm watching. Keep smiling. Like you got an aunt who doesn't know how to operate the iPhone. There you go. Keep smiling. See, look at that. Okay, perfect. See, some of you just smile more than you have all week. Some of you, smiling is necessary. There is nothing in the office more helpful and more healing than a smile. If I walk up to you and you're like, I'm so glad you're here. Even if I'm in pain, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm here too. But if I walk up and you're like, thank you for coming, check in on the iPad. Make sure you fill it out correctly. No, man, smile. Be nice. Smile. Smiling shows your care. The other thing that's big is eye contact. We cannot give in. Eye contact, if you can't look me in the eyes, it just means that you can't trust me. Because if I'm looking in your eyes, if I do it right now, I can look Dr. Mike in the eyes. I can communicate with Dr. Mike. I can talk to him. I can just do the rest of the speech just to Dr. Mike. It's going to make him incredibly awkward. It's great. It's working. It's working. Now, here's the best part about making eye contact with Dr. Mike. As I've done in this deal, you may have noticed it. I don't know if you did. When I make eye contact with different people in the room, every time I look at you, you're going to make eye contact. It's just the way it goes. If I do it to you, if I do it to you, every time I look over here, you're going to make eye contact with me. Eye contact is just a thing. Once it connects, it connects. But if I look at you and if I just look at Jason's shirt, Jason, we're glad you're here, man. It's a nice shirt. I like it. It's good. Thanks for coming. You're going to be like, this guy I don't like him. He's not it. This is the way it works. I have to see the trust in you. I have to feel the trust in you. And if you won't look me face to face and you won't smile, I'm thinking, this may not be it. See, when I'm talking about serving, I'm not talking about hard things. I'm talking about some of the most basic things that there are. You don't even have to buy anything. You just got to smile. You just got to look me in the eyes. That's it. Step 8, coming in for a close. I'm almost there. Make serving together fun. One of the reasons that we don't serve well is because we don't have enough fun together. I'm just truly convinced of this. If you want to have a better office, you guys need to have more fun together. Do more stuff together. Have more fun. Theme days, celebrate unique holidays, go out for team nights, putt-putt, laser tag, escape rooms, movies, top golf, axe throwing, cornhole, pickleball, bowling. Just make sure if it's axe throwing that you're aimed at the wall, not each other. Just do it correctly. But so many times we get lost in this. Well, healthcare is serious. No. We need to have fun. Here's how I know we need to have fun. When I first started in this company, when I first started teaching, Keith would write my classes for doctors, and I would present the doctor classes. And then I started moving into taking over the staff classes. And so in the old days, we used to split the room in half in the afternoon, and one side would be just for doctors, and the other side would be just for staff. And we would teach we would teach an hour on answering the phone. So when you think this is something, you've never sat through that. That's something. And what we started to do as a company, we started thinking, well, maybe the staff would like it better if we just named the classes more fun. So we taught a class all on Medicare called The Dirt Road to the Superhighway. Because we thought if we disguised it, you'd show up, and then we just, gotcha. It's Medicare. Here we go. And that's how we did it. Every class was just super serious. Every class, besides the morning motivation, everything in the afternoon was just all business. And so I finally told Dad, I was like, Dad, can I try something? Can I try a different class? Can I do something more like what I would want to do? And he said yes, which was a surprise. And so I wrote a staff class called Patient Leadership. And in this class, I did some different things, had some different examples. And one of it was, I said, I wanted to find out who the leaders are in the room. So I said, everybody close your eyes. And I want, if we were at a wedding and a song comes on that you love comes on, and you're going to be the first one to the dance floor, I want you to stand up. So people in the room start standing up. And then I said, okay, open your eyes so you can see everybody that's standing up. I said, each one of these people is a leader because they will be to the place first. They will lead others to the dance floor. So these are the type of people that will lead the patients. And then I said, and I want each of them to prove it. So then I put Usher's Yeah on the loudspeakers and boot-it, 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 boot-it. I mean, that starts playing and echoing. And the best part about it was, within seconds, there was about 20 doctors running from their room into this, like, piling into the back, like, what is happening? This is serious business. And they watched, and I'm not going to act like I didn't take some flack for it, because I did. And I had people say they didn't like it and say that shouldn't be the way we do things. But then I started to notice the staff saying how much they loved it, how much they enjoyed it. And all of a sudden, over time, my classes started getting bigger. I started getting more doctors. And I started realizing maybe the fun matters a little bit. See, I'll give you even a more recent one. 2021, he gets sick, unbeknownst, and I tell Doug, make me a class. Make me a class. I tell Doug. Doug says, what do you want it to be about? I said, I don't care. Whatever you want to do, you have free reign. He said, does that mean I get to use music? I said, Doug, you can use whatever you want. I don't care what you use. And he released this class that to this day I would say is many of our doctors' favorite class. And it was a class he did at Spectacular where he played all kinds of music and did all kinds of stuff. And honestly, if you look at where we are right now, as you're going to see next hour when he presents this next class that I've seen, he teaches so much differently and so much better now that he's having fun. We've had classes where you're tapping to Guns N' Roses. We have classes where we're talking about lobsters. If you just said I went to a health conference and we learned about lobsters, you're like, what is happening? You picked the wrong, you're at the wrong one. But that's because he's having fun. And fun's just a necessary part of it. I want to be around fun people. I want to be in a place that's having fun. Because you know what? I equate wellness with fun. Does anybody else equate that? Because if I'm not well, I'm not having fun. Step 9, make the patient experience better. One of the best ways to serve others is to make their experience smoother and less complicated. This is why advanced multiple scheduling is so stinking important. So important, because it's a service to them. It's saying, look, we're just going to take care of this now. We're just going to get all these visits taken care of. We're going to get them in here. We're going to get them booked. You know why that's better? Because if you just try to do it after every visit, I'm going to start getting annoyed with this. I'm going to start saying, I don't want to book another one. I just booked one. It's here 2 days ago. I booked one then. Well, I don't keep doing this. It makes things easier. We think we're inconveniencing them. No, we're making their life easier. Advanced multiple schedule. Patient paperwork. That's another one I got. I have filled out so much paperwork, and it feels like I'm never done filling out paperwork. And I fill out so much paperwork about myself and how I feel, and then you call me back, and I feel like you didn't read any of it. Because you asked me all the same questions that were on that sheet of paper that I spent forever filling out. Could we make it easier? Just asking. I'll give you one just as a tip. This is one of the doctors I go to does this. They have this tablet, and I got to go in, I got to type my number. And then it asks me, do you have any pain today? And the first time I saw this tablet, I hit the yes. And I got brought up 1,000 things I had to fill out. I was like, oh, shoot. I don't want to do this. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm being honest with you right now. I'm just being honest because I'm a patient. It doesn't matter if I can't walk. I'm going to hit no pain today. I'm going to hit it. You say that's not right. We need to know these things. Yeah, you can ask me when I come back there. But I'm not sitting here and filling out a ton of different things on a little tablet that none of y'all are going to read anyway. This is honest time. You think, oh, this is better. This is helping. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Because I came in. I've been getting chiropractic. Most of you might have seen, if you saw it, I had a cane. I've been getting adjusted really regularly, and I'm not on a cane this weekend. First time I haven't traveled in the last year and hadn't had a cane with me, which is awesome. But I'm walking in the office with a cane and hitting that no pain. That's not a thing. Why am I doing that? Because it's just better for me. It's more convenient. And I know when I get back there, I'm going to tell you how I hurt. Let me get off that one. Service interactions. I know, I got to hit it. Service interactions. There are two types of managers at a restaurant, those who actually care about how the table's going and those who don't. The same can be said for your office. There are two types of people, those that act like they care and those who actually care. And as a patient, I can definitely tell the difference. I can tell if I say, I'd like to talk to Sarah because I know Sarah will actually get me in. I know. I know if it's caring or if it's not. And let's just move to the last one, which is 10. Serve with kindness. If we just reference the golden rule, Luke 6:31, do to others as you would have them do unto you. See, I want to ask this very simple question. What if you treated every patient like they were your favorite? So, they're all our favorites. No, they're not. When it's a favorite, you treat them differently. What if you treated everybody like they're your favorite? But the trick to kindness is something I learned when I got married this last time to my amazing wife, Amber. I've been married twice. First time, I made some poor decisions, and that didn't work out. But one of the things I remember from my marriage is that when I got married, one of our coaches, Dr. Ed Martin, gave me a book. He gave me a book, and he said, in my first marriage, he said, read this book. I want both of you to read it. And this will make your marriage work. And I said, awesome. Then went home, went to my fiance, and I said, look, Ed gave us this book. You heard what he said? She said, yeah, I'm not reading that. I said, okay. Well, guess I won't either. I didn't know. I just thought it was okay, it's just a book. Then that marriage didn't work. And it's weird how life hits you. My current wife, we were engaged, and we were in this marital class, and one of the recommendations was you should do something together you wouldn't normally do, and my wife loves to read. And she said, I'd like to read. Could we read a book together? I said, you know what? I got a book. And I pulled out the copy I got from my first marriage. I told her, I said, he told me to read this book, and it would make my marriage great, and I never read it. She said, okay, great, let's read it. And we read that book, and I'm telling you, I've been married now 7 years. There isn't a day that goes by I don't reference that book. It's a book called Love and Respect. And the premise of the book is very simple. It says that all men want respect and all women want love. But the problem with people is that we want what we want before we give out what the other one wants. So if I feel like I'm being disrespected, I will hold back my love until I get respected. And if she doesn't feel like she's getting loved, she will hold back respect because she wants the love first. And the concept is you have to drop it all and give the other person what they need without requiring what you want. And this is this to a T. We cannot expect to receive good, awesome, patient, kind people as patients if we don't give it first. We don't need to have it from them. We don't need them to be good to us. We don't need them to be easy. We don't need them to be nice. We need us to be the representative. We need us to give it. And when they don't give it in return, we still must give it. And that's how we serve. Make sense? I'm going to end it on that. We're going to take 5 minutes, and then we're going to go to Dr. Doug Sullivan. 5 minutes. Thank you, everybody.